Hello and welcome to Jesse and Cade's first podcast reviewing the 2025 Minnesota Twins season. This is North Star Sports Media. You have me, Jesse, Cade. We're going to be reviewing the series recap from Houston to the Twins. Houston takes 2 of 3 from the Twins at Target Field. The bullpen was solid up until Game 3. Running and scoring position was solid for the Twins, but opportunities were limited in comparison to Houston, so we will be talking a little bit about that. If you like what you hear, give us a follow on Facebook, North Star Sports Media, Twitter, or X. And also leave us a like and a comment on the YouTube section. We'd like to interact with you. Cade, give us a vibe check on the Twins so far this season, 9-10 games in.
Ups and downs. Obviously started the season pretty poor. Came back for a couple of games, had 2 strong outings. Complete team performances was good. You can tell over last Houston that we showed promise or little glimpses that we could compete with them, but then ultimately just fell out. They won't say they were too persistent and over the top better than us, but definitely not. We definitely showed that we weren't quite ready for the regular MLB season as a complete team and a complete game. So, our bullpen showed up great the first part, even though there was losing efforts. But then during the games when we actually had a chance, you could tell they were tired and kind of fell through a little bit.
Yeah, the vibe that I kind of get from the team, even just regarding Rocco's quotes after the Game 3 debacle, this is going to be a tough one that's going to bother a lot of people in our clubhouse. There's no doubt about it. So now we move on to the Royals series, which, they did lose Game 1. And it's all about how you rebound. Can this team, now 3-6, I believe, 3-7, what are they going to do about it? Where are they going to go? Game by game breakdown. So first game of the Houston series, Twins lose 5-2. Joe Ryan had 5 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. The Twins did jump out early in the game with a two-run lead in the first, bottom of the first. Houston came back and hit back-to-back home runs. And then for the game, the Twins, they really weren't that bad with runners in scoring position. They were 2 for 5, but to only have 5 plate appearances with runners in scoring position limits your opportunity to score runs. Yep. And then, on top of that, the Astros bullpen threw 3 perfect innings. Overall, Hunter Brown shoved, throws 98, 99 miles an hour. So when you get that opportunity of scoring 2 runs in the inning, it is up to your starter to kind of play some damage control. Even if your number 2 starter isn't feeling it, I feel like there is a sense of responsibility to get through 5 and maybe not give up more than 3. Just give your team a shot. What's your opinion on Game 1 overall?
I mean, you kind of hit it in the head with Joe Ryan. We came out, we scored 2 runs, which I don't know the exact splits off the top of my head, but it doesn't seem like we score the first runs often this year yet. So it's kind of nice to actually see us up 2-rip on a very good baseball team. And then, the following inning on, I think, back-to-back pitches, back-to-back fastballs, is all of a sudden tied at 2-2. That's going to be a tough – I mean, that's a tough one as a starter. I mean, obviously, Joe Ryan's an excellent pitcher, so he felt it. But he did get us through 5, which was good to see. So I will say, I mean, he didn't pitch scoreless innings through 5, but at least he gave us a chance. He saved some of our bullpen arms, even if he clearly didn't have his stuff that day. That was good to at least see out of a starter. So that's something to at least build off of because he looked better as the game went on. So if he can figure it out for the rest of the season, that would be nice. But I mean, as far as that, the rest of the team, we scored 2 runs in the first. Great, excellent. The game doesn't stop there. They have 8 more innings. I mean, we had 5 hits throughout the rest. I mean, through the whole game. Yeah. So it kind of is annoying to look at where you're looking at the fact of like, okay, we got up early. What happened to the old saying of, kick them while they're down or step on their throats? Like, it's time to put the pedal down, get back to it. We're up 2, but that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. And we're, like you said with them, every time they had a chance, opportunity, they took advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely. Game 2, Twins win 6-1. I was at the Gopher Penn State game. I didn't have an opportunity to watch the game, but I will say this is what I have for the stat line. Bailey Ober pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, had an earned run, had 5 strikeouts. Overall, Bailey Ober pitched in that game 84 pitches. So this is going to go back to our our point a little bit later in the podcast of how much is too much for the bullpen. Um, Jose Miranda hits a 3-run home run. Is that going to trigger something? Because it, I think, is almost 300 days since he's last hit a home run. Almost like the Tim Anderson effect
Yeah.
of the White Sox, where Miranda hit 14 hits and 14 straight at bats. I might have that number a little bit incorrect. However, where'd the power go?
Yeah.
So hopefully this is the beginning of that. And Miranda right now has an opportunity with Brooks Lee and Royce Lewis hurt. And he probably will have an opportunity throughout the whole entire season to prove himself, because there's no way that Royce Lewis doesn't land on the DL for a second time this season at some point this season. It's just not likely that he stays healthy when he comes back, especially coming back from this hamstring injury.
Yeah.
It's a pretty serious grade from what I've heard through the media. Um, and then, okay, let's go to the bullpen after that. 5 scoreless innings, 8 strikeouts. Great showing by the bullpen. I believe it was, let me just double check here. Yeah, it was Cole Sands who picked up the win.
Yep.
Yours and mine's favorite reliever in the whole entire bullpen, which was once our pick for DFA. Um, Overall, if Miranda can continue this success, what are the odds of him jumping over to first base and being the long-term play at first base? Because overall, I do believe Brooks Lee should be the third baseman because Royce Lewis can't throw across the diamond.
Yep.
And it's a lot easier to convert a shortstop to a second baseman. You also have Luke Keeschel in the minors. I'm not going to acknowledge Eddie Julian. I'm just not. Um, what's your opinion on the possibility? Let's say Miranda can go on a run here. Do you believe that the Twins would overreact and give him a Max Kepler or Jorge Polanco type deal at the end of the season? Let's say 5 years, 35 million. So then that way they don't have to worry about arbitration and team control and all that jazz in the CBA. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, the ownership's in love with Royce, and I get that. He does not want to play second base. He's clearly does not want to make that change over. If he did pick it up, let's say he hit like a 260 to 280, yeah, we'll probably give him something a multi-year deal for sure. Because I think you could still get him at a reasonable price that even the Twins with our Moneyball strategy would pay out. As far as making him a first baseman, that's probably his best bet, especially since we clearly don't have anything long term. We keep getting these 1-year guys, veterans, which is fine. You can live like that. But as far as confidence and as a clubhouse and a GM, you obviously want one guy to be there, especially at first base. Brooks Lee also, I don't know if that's the solution at third base. One, lower back. Apparently that's going to be an issue for long term to come. And even his draft stock or his metrics coming out of college was a shortstop, but he was pretty much known he was going to go play second base because he doesn't have the greatest of arms. So I don't know if a third base where you have a longer throw is going to be the best solution for him. And again, even because Edward Julian, if his bat ever finds it, but his defensive metrics, he's still not good. Where Brooks Lee in defense is a very sound defensive-minded player. But yeah, if Miranda can find it or find it back, what he did, 2 years ago, where he kind of started coming at the end of the season, if he kind of comes to that back, we give him a year at first base when Royce comes back or even mix it in, he could definitely be at least a plug at first base till we figure out something even more long-term. But we'll see how his defensive is due, because at third base, he's not good either.
No.
Defensively speaking, he's a liability.
He was also a liability when he did play first as well. So,
yeah,
can the system develop him into just even a above average or just average first baseman fielding wise? We haven't had a really good glove over there since Mauer. Mauer had a good glove over at first.
Yep.
Since then, Sano wasn't great at first. Carlos Santana was pretty damn good at first
Yeah, he won
base.
a Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, yeah. And I believe Arise was a finalist in 2021, which I don't know how much stock you can put into that.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a platoon position thing they gave it to him as because
Yeah.
he was okay. He's okay everywhere in the field though. Not great, just okay.
5'9" worries me at first. It just does.
Yeah.
And, Ty France seems to be solid, but I feel like I can't remember if it was against the Astros or if it was their first series against St. Louis, but there was a play where I want to say it was a bunt or a short infield hit, and third baseman throws to Ty France. It's a bang bang play, and Ty France isn't even stretched out at first base. He's receiving the ball as if it's a routine ground ball. And when I watched the bang bang play, I'm thinking to myself, man, I think of like Santana or Crone or Morneau who would stretch for those bang bang plays at first. That's an
Yep.
out. I mean, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I'm pretty sure that run did come around to score. So when you think about defensive wins above replacement, they really do matter. It
Yep.
definitely does. It's almost a forgotten side of the ball, and it seems like the Twins especially have forgotten that metric really matters. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So far this season, Ty France looks like he's in the 63rd percentile.
okay.
So just above average
Just
or
above average.
above average, but you're not getting to that 75 mark where it really makes you a well-known defender. So
He has been driving the ball. I'll give him that.
he's actually come up with some big. I mean, we're talking about runners in scoring position and scoring runs off of hits. He's had a couple where he has like 1 for 3 days, but his one hit drives in a run, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, if you're going to get one hit a day and it drives in one run, that's a pretty good stat line to be on.
Make it count.
Yeah,
Okay, game 3, 9-7 Astros. Twins were winning 7-1 in this game. Chris Paddock threw 4 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. I'm ready to pull the plug on Chris Paddock. The bullpen gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. Griffin Jacks blew the save in the ninth, giving up a 2-run home run to Yordan Alvarez. And then, of course, Josh Hader comes in extras and just mows him down.
yeah.
The Astros, Josh Hader and Presley. It's like, come on.
It's a gross 1-2, but they actually use their 1-2 like they should.
And they
Hater
have a
had
lefty who
Hater.
can shut it down.
That's also nice to have.
The last lefty that could shut it down in the bullpen for the Minnesota Twins, I believe, was Dennis Reyes in 2007 or 2006.
Yeah,
Fact check me on that. He had a below 1 ERA, so that was a fun period of Minnesota Twins baseball.
yeah.
Okay, so
Now,
recap.
I will
Recap.
say this about that last game though,
Yeah, say it.
because they said we have okay, the bullpen implodes. Okay, it did. We lost in our bullpen did give it up. But that being said, one, I don't know what Rocco's deal is with Griffin Jackson, Johan Duran not giving one the closer than not. Because Duran came in the eighth in that game.
Yeah.
And had probably one of his best outings, like shoved it down their throat. And he only had one strikeout, but I think he had one like jam shot back to him and one other weakly ground ball.
Mm-hmm.
Two, okay, Griffin Jackson gave up 2 runs. That hurt. But he had 2 pitches in that inning. So like one, they were just aggressive and they made it count. But then he came in and fixed it. So while it did implode, at least they kept him in there, and then he struck out the 3. He had 3 strikeouts that inning right after that.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to happen. I mean, look at Miranda hit a 3-run bomb off a Hader last year to win the game. Like it happens to closers. Granted, it kind of stinks to see because that would have been a really good series win, and 2 a really good overall win.
Yeah.
But to put focus on it, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Honestly, I mean, it sucks, but I also don't like Varland coming in the 10th. I'll say that.
I agree.
I get it. We used all of our arms,
Mm-hmm.
but Varland was a starter, and we brought him in as a mid reliever.
Yeah.
And if you have Paddock who pitched 4 innings, and Varland's last appearance before that, he pitched an inning and gave up no hits.
Right.
So his arm has to be fresh. Why don't you give him the fifth and the sixth? Instead, we pitch McConnon, who we pulled up instead of Dobnak, and Colum. Colum, our only lefty, pitched a third of an inning.
Yeah, one batter.
If you give Varland the fifth and the sixth, that you can drop Cole Sands down an inning. You keep your lefty specialist.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand kind of the mentality of our decisions.
Yeah, it's definitely something to question.
Like I don't know. We have these guys on our roster that we kind of have in a spot. You can't tell me that Varland's a 1 inning specialist. That's why we kept him up. He's supposed to be a mid reliever / you can be a spot starter. Like I don't know why he can't pitch more than 1 inning.
The other thing that is on my mind regarding the bullpen is they snagged a Philly reliever out of Rule 5, and then they sent him back after spring training. Why not? It's the beginning of the season. If you feel like some of these games are throwaway games where you just throw in some mop-up guys, why didn't you just throw this guy in and have him eat up some innings in the first 10 games and then DFA him and have him go back to the Phillies?
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole, I'm going to butcher his name, McCoffin experiment right now. And then McCoffin exchanges places with Scott Blewett, who actually had a good game last night. But to your point, the decisions don't seem to have any kind of consistency.
No.
And I'm not going to sit here and play armchair GM and say that I would do it better, but it does deserve some questions. There's no doubt. So that leads kind of segues to my question for you is, did Baldelli actually mishandle the bullpen, or are the Astros just elite at execution? Keep in mind, this isn't the same Astros team from 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely not, but they're still good. They still have plenty of good hitters. Yes and no. The only thing that I like, and I'm a big Griffin Jax guy, I am, but he's not our closer. Like I don't understand why Rocco can't commit to a closer. But having a guy like Duran come in, first off, he's a fireball, and just his mentality. He's throwing, he's gonna challenge you, and he's clearly good. Like last year, obviously he battled an injury, so his stats were a little bit down, but his stuff is unworldly.
Yeah.
I mean, before he got hurt, it was him and Clase that were talking about they were two of the best closers, not only in the AL Central, but in the game of baseball. Right. And I just don't understand why, again, he did it last year multiple times. Switch those two up because of the metrics. But I don't understand what metrics you're really looking at. Mm-hmm. I mean, Duran's should be our closer. Just give it to him. If Jax comes in the eighth, even goes 1-2-3 or 1-2-3, I mean, gets up one hit. He didn't face the top of the lineup like he did in the ninth. Yeah. Is Duran your best reliever or closer? If he is, he would have pitched in the ninth against the best hitters. Isn't that kind of what you, one, pay a guy for, and two, you have the mentality of as a closer?
The baseball people have often said baseball players, when they're creatures of habit. And from Joan Duran's perspective, I'm not trying to speak for him, but I will say, what's it do to his psyche that he's been a solid closer since he came up? And he's never had, 2-month stretches of +4, +5 ERA. And then you have Griffin Jax, who finally puts it together last season. All of a sudden, now he's unseating you as the closer.
Yeah.
Now, Griffin Jax was executing in the 8th inning setup role, and there's a place for a setup pitcher. I mean, Dylan Betances is not a closer, great setup guy. Yeah. Same thing, Griffin Jax, great setup guy. And I'm not saying that Jax shouldn't be a closer, but what I am saying is, and to your point, is consistency. Taylor Rogers, why was Taylor Rogers bounced around so much between closer, relief? I keep referencing the mid-2000s Twins before Target Field, but Joe Nathan, closer. Gordado, closer.
Sure.
Matt Capps, the first couple years of Target Field, struggled, but was the closer. You knew what you were getting. And when you can consistently change the role back and forth, and I'm sure these players, they're told, early in the day before the game, hey, you're setting up tonight. Okay, thanks. Thanks, coach. Now I know. But it just it goes back to consistency. Like beginning of the season, Duran, you're my closer. You're my guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Griffin, you're the setup guy. You're my guy in the eighth inning. You're the guy. When the
Yep.
eighth inning comes around, be ready. When the ninth inning comes, you're the guy. Be ready. So I think I'm gonna give to answer my question, I'm gonna give Baldelli a little bit more of the blame here for mishandling the bullpen, not necessarily in this series, but it's kind of been a trend for his tenure
Years.
here. It goes back to throwing Cody Stashak in a playoff game against the Yankees in 2019. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You roll a Randy Dobnak for game two instead of Jake Odorizzi for game two in 2019. Like, this isn't just happening now. This is a pattern.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, it's not him, it's the front office. It's the front office comes down and says, hey, this is what you're doing tonight. And then Rocco's accepted the role of, okay, I'm to do what the front office tells me to do. And that's okay, I guess. But it deserves a talker. It really does, because there's a pattern here. The Twins bullpen is projected to be the best bullpen in baseball, and so far this season they've had good games, but overall they've struggled, definitely.
Yeah. I think that argument goes back to analytics versus just playing the game.
Yeah.
Because Rocco doesn't do the traditional, okay, here's kind of where you're sitting, da, da, da. He gives them cards at the beginning of the game, and it has like a square highlighted. And it's all it is if we need a guy and these guys are projected up, it's this guy. Because the analytics say they can't hit this style of pitching or this arm slot.
Yeah.
And he'll do that for Jax and Duran.
Right.
So it's like, okay, that might work. Okay, your middle guys, okay, I actually don't mind that. We have 5 guys. You guys can all take, have your eye on 3 or 4 players. Cool, great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. But at the same time, these guys are all athletes, and some guys have different mentalities, and that whole saying of, well, who has that dog in them? It's not everyone.
No.
Some of these guys have clearly never had it in their MLB career, and they lost it. Like I said, athletes are, we like habits.
Yeah.
And Duran, knowing he's the closer, doesn't matter who he's going up against, he's just going to come and shove it in the ninth. Mm-hmm. Great. And now you have Jax and you have Cole Sands who are pitching great. So it's like, well, Cole Sands can pitch in the 8th. Jax can pitch in the 8th. But, like, anyone can pitch anytime except for our closing spot. I just don't like that. I like the mentality of one guy.
I agree.
And now I guess, yeah, that being down the road, it's July and Duran has 4 saves in a row or 3 saves in a row. Okay, yeah, you might have to throw Griffin Jackson there or Cole Sands. It's going to happen throughout the year where a closer just has too many innings under his belt. But this early in the season, and I don't think Duran's pitched all that often.
No.
I think he should just be our 9th inning guy.
Yes, I agree. Okay. I think we've exercised our demons on Rocco and the bullpen. The second point I want to bring up, and we referenced it at the top of the show, runner and scoring position totals for the series. So the Twins, they batted .320, 8 hits for 25 opportunities with runners in scoring position. The Astros, 10 for 32, had 7 more opportunities for runners in scoring position. We were talking about this before we started the show. Wallner has been great this season thus far. He walks, he gets hit by pitches. It seems kind of willingly. He's been singling. He's amazing in right field. So I'm not going to sit here and say the leadoff position was the wrong move because it seems to be working. But what I am going to say is, okay, you had 7 less opportunities than the Astros to, knock somebody in. Castro was pretty damn good in the leadoff spot last year, and what they say in baseball is maybe your best hitter should be your 2 hitter. I think the Angels did it with Trout. Yankees did it with Judge. I think Judge leads off now though.
He bounces.
Yeah, he bounces around. A manager that goes for feel sometimes, but then again, consistency, right? So here's Castro's numbers in the leadoff spot last year, and tell me if this isn't going to give Wallner some more opportunities to knock him in. 293 batting average, 379 on base percentage, and an 828 OPS, which is way above league average.
Yep.
You throw Castro in the leadoff spot, gets on base. Twins seem more set on stealing bases this year. Let him steal some bases. And then you get Wallner, who averaged 348 in the 2-hole last year. Now Wallner has opportunity. And Wallner, once he gets up to speed, can run. But I believe having somebody second in the order that can knock guys in and probably has the highest likelihood for 3-run home runs, give him opportunity with runners on base.
Yep.
I feel like overall this is a huge opportunity they're missing. And if Correa wants to stay at the top of the order, as I said to you, okay, have Correa lead off then, back Castro second, put Wallner third. And you're going to say, oh, you're crazy because Correa is slow. Well, Correa then isn't going to be hitting into double plays anymore. So,
Yeah.
you know, you have to think about that, because I think I read on X that Correa's run speed is like almost last in the MLB. It's like 25 feet per second or 24 feet per second. And as much as I like Correa, as good as he is in the field, and he's a $200 million player apparently, it's not a very flexible player to put in different positions of the lineup. And I think putting him 3 or 4 opens you up to the Trevor Plouffe, Joe Mauer type double plays that we saw in the mid 2010s.
I mean, what I don't understand is like we just talked about how Rocco is so analytical with his pitching staff.
Yeah.
But yet it seems like so far this year he's rolling out the same lineup every single game. And Carlos Correa makes jokes about how bad he is in April. Like he'll make multiple comments. Can I strike you out in April, or can I strike you out? And he'll literally look at random people and be like, maybe in April. And he goes, July, August, no chance. And let's act like he hasn't hit in the bottom half of the lineup. Last year, he was in the multiple spots, 5th, 6th, early in the season. He knows he's not the greatest hitter, and I don't understand why they're just locking him in at the 2 spot. I mean, shoot, last year, his second most plate appearances was in the 5th hole.
Wow.
So it's not on, and he hit 368.
Yeah, right.
So his 2 spot was his most average last year towards the end of the season, and he only hit he hit 289. He had a lot more plate appearances, so it's his spot.
Right.
But he's cold. Like, he knows he's cold in April.
Yep.
If Rocco's so analytically driven, bat him down for a month till he can kind of find his swing. There's less stress in you at the top of the order. Maybe he sees a couple more fastballs. Just let him get into the routine of it, and then throw him back in once the season comes. I mean, he doesn't have to be locked into the 2 spot. I just don't get it. That's one of your most productive at bats is your 2 spot hitter. Yeah. And Wallner would be a great one. Has some power. They have this. I bet you Wallner is actually faster than Correa.
100%.
The power is there. I mean, Matt Wallner's walking this season is uncanny.
Yep.
So even if Castro gets on base and then you have no one out for Byron Buxton hitting the 3-hole still, 1, good luck doubling him up. It better be hit hard. And 2, Buxton's production is still pretty good for him being as injured and inconsistent as he is. He's still a productive hitter.
Yeah.
So I just don't – I like Carlos Correa. I really do. He's going to be – I don't want him trading him. Obviously, I want him until he retires. But he's not an April hitter. No. I mean, shoot, last year in April and March, his best hit was 265, and then even in May, he hit 255.
Right.
And then, obviously, after that, he went to 388, 300, 328, 308. So, again, he's not an early spring, cold weather hitter.
Yep, right. And to piggyback off what you're saying about being analytical with the lineup, what's funny about the lineup is he hasn't, like you said, he hasn't changed the lineup whatsoever.
No.
And we're dogging him for not, assigning roles in the bullpen. But I feel like roles in the bullpen are a little bit more important than maybe roles in the lineup. Also, as you stated, analytical. Well, okay, make the decision at the beginning of the year, the correct decision. But if it isn't working, which it's been somewhat working, I'm gonna still give it time. It's a long season. They have a new hitting coach. They're doing a new approach. They're taking batting practice in a different way. They're emphasizing hitting the ball the other way. The lefties are actually getting some opportunities against lefties for once, which I'm shocked by. I'll give it some time, but come late June, if Wallner's still in the leadoff spot and has 15 home runs and 27 RBIs, I'm going to call it out. And what's that matter? But
Yeah.
it matters to me. So I'm gonna say it. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, I mean, I feel like you just make the change. I don't understand why he's scared.
Yeah. Okay. Standout players for the series. I'm gonna give a standout player to José Miranda. Congratulations, you hit a home run for the first time in 100 games. Good for you. Joe Ryan, you battled your tail off. You lost, but what I have learned about Joe Ryan is he only throws a fastball, and he seems to get through. So kudos to you, Joe Ryan. Bailey Ober, please throw over 100 pitches, get through a fifth inning, give the bullpen a
Yeah.
break, please. Um, Griffin Jacks, as you said, he gave up a home run. He threw two bad balls to two of the best hitters in the game. However, he still was solid, as you said. Made soft contact. I'm still going to give Griffin Jacks a standout. And then overall, I got to give a standout to Yordan Alvarez. He broke out of his slump. And then I love Josh Hader. I want so badly for the Twins to acquire a lefty that throws heat and
Yeah.
can get anybody out. And by the way, not just one lefty. I think the last lefty that started a game for the Twins was Dallas Keuchel.
Gross.
And and that was 86 miles an hour as a fastball. Driveline got him to 88. Good for you. Way past his prime. They needed a spot start. Good for them. Acquire a lefty, please. Get Connor Prelup up into AAA. Go watch him a little bit. Call him up. Like, please do something. Do something with a lefty. It's been so long, and lefties are so effective.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll give one to Jose Altuve, by the way.
in left field,
Playing a left fielder, hitting over high 300s.
yeah,
Playing, I mean, he's at his age, switching positions and still being a productive leadoff. That's, I mean,
he's a team player.
he's a Hall of Famer team player.
He is a Hall of Fame team player, even though he wore a vest that buzzed when a fastball came. Also,
Well, you know,
Hall of Fame props.
yeah, yeah.
This is coming from a guy that would vote for Barry Bonds, only because that was magic in my childhood watching Barry Bonds hit home runs. It was
Yeah.
so cool to me, and it made me love the game watching it. Sorry, it's true. All right, AL Central, where the Twins stand. They are currently in the bottom half of the AL Central standings. This team's going to need, I'm going to say, probably 90 plus wins to take the division. I don't see it. I projected them at 83 wins, and watching the first 10 games of the season, I'm thinking I was high on that projection. Long season, guys can come around. I don't feel great about it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'll go back to the famous Minnesota saying that the 90-91 Twins were 2-8 to start the season. Not saying that this is a World Series team, but it is early. I don't know. We just didn't look ready, especially that first series. We did not look like we were ready for MLB season. So I'll say, whatever, get over that one. The Houston one stinks. That sucks. But yeah, I mean, like you said, if we need 90 wins, do I see it? No. And then it makes me question, kind of not question, but the long-term plan for the Twins. I mean, to me, this is the season that we could have go spend just a little extra money and taken one more step and actually been competitive in the division, but we didn't do anything.
No.
I mean, we got Harrison Bader.
Yeah.
Great. Another Phil. We got Ty France. Okay. Great. he was a whatever. Like that's a signing that we needed, sure.
Yeah.
But is it one that we took the next step? No. And pitching, we got one lefty, column A. That's all we did this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just is like, well, the owners never want to see. They just don't want to give up the money.
Nope.
And I don't know if they see the projections, but like, out of all sports, this is one that I feel like you actually spend the money follows.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's true.
you spend the money on your players, you get a good team and you get a good record. That next season, it's proven you have more people in the stands. Merchandise is selling faster. You might have to take a little bit of a cut this year. I think they're okay. I think they still have probably billions still. And I'm kind of done with the owners in this.
They're 500 million in debt.
Oh, how?
Also, uh, talking about people going to games, did you see the turnout for Sunday's game?
I did not know
It was if it was 14,000 or 16, and that would equate to the fifth lowest turnout for a game for the Twins last season, and this is after the collapse in last September. So
Yep.
if you want to talk about concern, there's a big one because that's opening weekend.
Yeah.
And the excitement in this town for this team is at an all-time low. First, the owners say, we're going to sell. And the Ishbias were a rumored buyer. And it seemed like it was going to go somewhat smooth. We know how this goes. We're petrified from the Glenn Taylor deal with the Timberwolves. And then the poll ads say, no, we want 1.7 billion. And by the way, we're 500 million in debt. Come buy the team
Yeah.
and take this monstrosity off our hands because we obviously don't care about baseball.
It's all, yeah.
And I don't mean to speak illy of the ownership of the Twins because at the end of the day, it's my home team. I love this team. But that's why I am speaking illy at this time is because I love this team and I'm giving them a little bit of tough love. It's hard to watch.
It is.
And I just don't know how many times in a row we can watch them put out this product of okay, for a 3-month stretch, we're gonna play 35% win rate baseball, and then for 2 months we're gonna play 65% win baseball, and at the end of the year we're just gonna be good enough just to sneak in, and we're gonna be overmatched in round one, or we're gonna collapse in the fall, which has already happened twice during this Baldelli Falvey era, and we're just going to disappoint the fans and we're going to trade for injured players because that's what we can afford, even after spending all that money for Correa. And I'm pretty sure the team said to Correa, yeah, we're going to build. We'll build. Well,
Oh, yeah.
they haven't. They haven't built whatsoever.
No.
And I like Harrison Bader. He's a good player. He's the 2017 Toyota RAV4 with the oil changed every 3,000 miles. However, it's Harrison Bader.
Yeah.
And you got, if you were to combine the salaries of Bader plus France, and then by the way, you find a way to dump Christian Vazquez. Find a way. Okay. You got 30 million to play with. Go give Pete Alonso the money. Just give Pete Alonso the money. It's not that hard. Maybe it is that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. Like, you're not going to overspend whatever it is you're allocating for your roster. If you cut some dead weight, have faith in your farm system that's ranked top 5 in the MLB, and go get Pete Alonso. Do it. Get the polar bear, please. So I'm gonna get off my high horse here and just say that I don't see the team winning more than 80 games this season. Maybe I'm overreacting. In July when they're 53 and 30, you can tell me I'm wrong. And I want to be proved incorrect, but I don't believe I'm incorrect.
Yeah, 80 wins is going to be a lot to ask. I mean, last year our pitching staff our starters were on an unbelievable tear at one point, and maybe we can do that again and hold for a little while. But again, our offense just kind of hurts sometimes. I mean, there was a point during the season or the last series, I looked at it and it was, you're looking at who we had out there and it was like, is this a top end big league lineup? I mean, when you have Edward Julian just kind of doing whatever at the plate, I mean, he finally had one good hit. And then you had Harrison Bader again. You're not looking for his at bats. Then you have Christian Vasquez, and you have Jose Miranda right before he kind of hit his one good electric home run that we desperately needed. You look at your lineup, and Correa was struggling, and you're like, boy, is this a 75-win team?
Yeah.
No, again, it's early, and they were kind of a little struggling. But yes, it's going to be interesting.
I'm not off the bandwagon. Just
No.
so everybody knows, I'm not off the bandwagon. But I'm going to call it out. All right, next opponent, Kansas City. They lost last night. We'll review that series when it concludes. Tonight, you got Lopez versus Cole Ragans. Good matchup. Pablo Lopez, your ace, my second favorite pitcher on the staff. Looks to continue to have a strong start. I think his ERA is like 2.25. His velocity looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing him pull the Twins out of this slump, maybe give the team some confidence. They're tough. Royals are tough.
Yeah.
They've assembled a decent, fun team. And hopefully when those late inning games come up, the bullpen can figure it out, and hopefully the bullpen isn't gas. So I'm looking for Lopez to get 6 innings at least tonight. Even if he gives up 5 earned, throw him out there 6 innings, give the bullpen a break because you don't have a day off until next Thursday. Not this Thursday, next Thursday. So it's going to be important. I believe the 10 days is almost up, so I think Dobnak can come back soon. But overall, it's important that we get a good start out of him tonight. And then also, Brooks Lee is rehabbing in Single A. So it could really help because the second base play has been very poor, in my opinion. So it's gonna be very important to get him back and see what he can do, and hopefully he can acclimate and put himself in the right position right away.
Yeah. I'm looking more at tomorrow's game already. For 2 reasons. One, I think tonight's I'm hoping, but I think it's just gonna be a duel. When you get 2 aces going against each other, and if it's a low-scoring game, okay. Hopefully we can. If we win tonight, that's a great win. With our ace against their ace, that's a great win. But I'm looking forward mostly tomorrow, because Seth Lugo is a great pitcher.
Yeah.
And Joe hasn't had his first start was good. Second start hurt, just because of the long ball back to back, and then he gave up another couple hits. But usually this is when he finally comes around and pitches an absolute gem.
Yep.
And if we can have 2 games in a row, like you said, with Lopez going 6 and then Joe going 6, letting our arms kind of save up a little bit, and then the fourth game, going back, then we'd have Bailey Ober. I mean, that could be another game where if he gets into pitch count issues again.
Pitching in Kansas City. Struggles in Kansas City.
So then we can at least have our arms fresh for the 4th game.
Right.
Which, again, we desperately need. They need it. And then again, we come back home versus Detroit.
Right.
So if we can save our arms for that home series against, again, the number 1 team in our division right now is Detroit. So if we can come in and kind of not scrap together, but if we can win 3 or the next 2 out of the 3 games, split the series with Kansas City, and then go into Detroit with a little fresh bullpen and some confidence in our starters, then you just, I guess you kind of find it in a sense as your lineup goes. You find a couple wins against Detroit, and then all of a sudden you're kind of, again, at this point, it's my big goal is get to 500.
Yeah.
Let's not freak out. Let's just get to 500 by, let's see where we're at around May 1st. If you can be 500 by May 1st, it's not great, but then it's like, okay, well, we battled. We got punched in the mouth early. We battled back, and now you can go in the rest of the year kind of looking at it equal. I'm okay with that as a reasonable outcome.
Right.
I mean, I wish we'd go like 23-0 in the rest of the season, or the month, but that's just not happening.
Not with this team.
No.
One final thought on what you're saying and Ober pitching on that Thursday. Here's an unconventional analytical idea. Push Ober back to Friday because you don't want to throw more than 100 pitches anyways, and call up Zebby Matthews to start your Thursday game.
Yeah.
Do it. Try something different. Ober doesn't pitch well in Missouri. So just try something different. And okay, Thursday afternoon, we record this podcast, and Bailey Ober throws 7 innings, no runs, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts. Okay, I was wrong, but at least entertain the thought. And I would hope that the front office is entertaining these thoughts, because if they want to hold true to their word of being analytical and forward thinking and want to believe that they're the smartest person in the room, there's an unconventional idea that could maybe skip Paddock then to the bullpen. So just one last final thought on that. Anything else that you want to add?
No, I don't. Again, we'll see what they do with the lineups. If they ever do make any changes, I doubt it. But again, if they do, I would really hope. I mean, if it works, it's going to be great. Oh, and just like that, they already did change the lineup. Correa's in our 4 spot.
Did they? Good for them.
Well, that's just rumors, I guess. But yeah, I mean, they need to do something.
Okay, good deal.
They again, you're not going at it. They're just keeping the same lineup and not getting results.
Yeah.
And again, the definition of insanity. It's
Give
going on already.
A start. Give Deshaun Kiersey a start.
I would like
please.
that.
Give him a start.
Yes.
All right, great.
I would definitely like that.
So we'll follow up on this with our next episode following the Royal Series. We'll talk a little bit more about how the series went down, what the Twins are excelling in, and what the Twins are struggling in. Give us a follow, share the podcast, give us a like, comment. North Star Sports Media is the name of the podcast, and drop your thoughts, and we want to interact. So, Cade, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.